Talk about a specific match and what happened and gain some general insights from it. So, BJ Penn and Ryan Hall is a match where a lot of people were introduced to backside 50-50. Let me just stick on the bottom 50-50 here, go down to this knee. Okay, so this is not how Ryan got there, obviously, but we're not going to talk about the entrance, we're just talking about the backside 50-50 sequence itself. So, anyway, let's do a basic entry to a backside 50-50. Now, I'll keep this knee down. So, now, in this position, let's talk about like why it's so good and what BJ did in the match and what we can take away from that. All right. So first of all, backside 50-50 is a variation of a family of ashiguramis that also includes cross ashi. Okay. So here we have a backside cross ashi. Anytime we're in a situation where we have stay here. We have a backside ashigurami and the legs on the inside. The way we're going to expose the heel is by applying pressure to the back of the knee. Okay, so that's because what Birdman is going to want to do to defend his leg is just extend your leg, straighten it out. Yeah. In this situation, if his knee can touch the mat or come close to the mat, I can expose his heel very easily. If he can extend his leg, it's very hard to expose his heel. All right. Now, the backside cross ashi is not very well equipped to expose the heel because it doesn't have a strong mechanism for bending the leg. All right. See how my legs are here? Now, I can try as hard as I can, and he can straighten this leg out very, very effectively. All right. Now, the backside 50-50, if you had the heel, it's very easy to bend the leg, but if you don't, it's difficult to bend this leg. Whereas if we have a backside 50-50, now, it's very easy, very, very easy for me to force a bend in that leg, okay? If he goes to extend this leg, he's always gonna run into this leg here. So we put the foot at the front of the far hip and we extend the leg. Now anytime he goes to extend his leg, it stops and it remains bent and it's very easy to expose. That's because, again guys, the knee is close to the mat. Whereas if he could straighten this leg out, the knee's not close to the mat and it's very hard to expose the heel, all right? Now, in that match, Ryan didn't keep the foot at the front of the far hip. Instead, what he did was he crossed his legs like this, and he was able to put pressure to the back of the knee all the same, whereas Bird goes to extend here. It's a very difficult thing to do, and he exposed the heel. So that's basically why backside 50-50 is so strong, okay? Like on a mechanical level. Now, what should we do if we get caught in a backside 50-50, all right? So basically there's two main things that he can do at this point. All right, he can roll. If he does that, he's honestly dooming himself to getting tapped. The only way he would ever get out if he did that is if I didn't know how to make this transition to outside senkaku. Okay, because once I'm in an outside senkaku and I have the heel exposed, he really can't come towards me and I can get my break very, very easily. Okay, so that response is not a very good one. All right, now, the reason people do that is because it relieves pressure momentarily from their knee, all right? So the break it's not happening for a moment, all right? The other response, this is what BJ did in the match, is he made a back step motion. Yeah, and he got popped and he got tapped before he was able to get out. But that, I would argue, is actually what you should do, all right? Why is that? So come back. So if he spins this way, what happens is there's no way he can come forward and hand fight and stop me from transitioning to an outside senkaku. He never has a chance to do it, okay, so long as I know how to make the transition. Whereas if he back steps, he has a shot of what he wants is my legs to be over here. So that he can, even if I have the heel hook come forward and hand fight, he can come forward and hand fight, and this is actually a very difficult heel hook to finish, okay, because he's able to come forward. Now, the whole thing is, if my foot is in front of him, right, or my feet, he can't come forward and hand fight. So the gamble he's making when he backsteps, this backstep is going to put more pressure on the heel hook in the short term, right? And he's probably honestly going to get finished if I'm good. But the idea is that if he's able to backstep fast enough, backstep, and throw my legs to the other side, right, so just a standard 50-50, he can then come forward, hand fight, and stop the heel hook, right? Whereas, let's come back. Whereas if he rolled, yes, roll. Watch the drink. Yeah, if he rolled, well, it is true. Yeah, that's what I say. If he rolled in the short term, yes, it is true that there's going to be less pressure on the heel hook. He's dooming himself to not being able to actually come forward and mitigate the threat altogether, okay? So anyway, let's go through a drill. Come back up. Let's go through a drill where you go this knee. We're in a bottom 50-50, and the offensive man, what he's going to do is I'm going to extend my right leg like so, as if I'm hiding my heel in like a cross-ashi situation. Now my left leg is going to pummel to the front of the far hip. I'm going to rotate around. My left hand grabs the ankle like so. Now my right foot pushes at the shoulder. Now I'm in a very good situation to chop at the back of his knee, put my foot to the front of his far hip. Here, because I'm able to sustain pressure to the back of his knee, okay? It's very hard for him to hide his heel. Go to hide your heel. He's unable to hide his heel because I can keep that knee on the mat by keeping pressure to the back of his knee, and I can expose his heel. Now once we get here, what I want the defensive man to do is he's going to backstep, and as he backsteps, he's going to put your hands on my foot. He's going to throw the foot here, and he's going to come forward, and he's going to hand fight. Okay? Catch my heel. The hand fight that I want you guys to engage in, I'll just turn it this way. The hand fight that I want you guys to engage in is based around this arm, okay? This one's important, but this one's more important, okay? Like here, this is how he locks my heel into place, right? I want you guys to come forward, even if he's got, connect your hands in. Even if he's got a gable grip in place, I want you to grab here, push downward. Now we're gonna take this heel, push, and your toes pop out, right? So typically in a 50-50, we're not looking at heel slip because he's able to crunch in. What we wanna do is we wanna toe slip, all right? And the best way to toe slip is by grasping this wrist here. Here, if he goes to finish, me, it's pretty hard. I can hold that down, and it's difficult for him to get an actual finish. Now the heel pushes the shoulder, and my toes come out, all right? None of this would be possible with his legs. Go to an outside senkaku. Yeah. I can't do any of that stuff now, right? I mean, you can try, but it's not gonna work because anytime I try to get my heel to his shoulder, he pushes me away with this foot. Yep, and I'm gonna get broken. All right, so one more time. So this is a drill for the offensive guy and the defensive guy. So we're here in a bottom 50-50. I'm gonna extend one leg. You can't just open like an idiot because then he can just heel hook me. Nope, heel hook me. Yeah, good. So you gotta, here if he goes to heel hook me, my heel is hidden. It's pretty safe. I take this foot, pull to the front of the far hip. We rotate, grasp this secondary leg, that's important. Then we push here. Now we chop at the back of the knee, put the foot to the front of the far hip, and immediately expose the heel. Here, he could roll to relieve pressure in the short term, but ultimately what he wants to do, even though this is riskier, is he wants to back step and throw the feet to the other side, come forward, grasp my bottom wrist, push it down, both hands. Good, yeah, very good. And then this foot goes to the front of my shoulder, use the heel, not the toes, and he pushes and the toes slip out. And now he's in a position to start going on the offense against me. Okay? All right, makes sense, guys? All right, let's get started. 1, 2, 3.